Yep. You just gotta roll with it sometimes. Where's
We
Mr.
need John
Toast?
McAfee to cut his dick off before or something.
He's still sleeping.
Yeah, like we
Isn't
got
he like?
Jack
Isn't he on a boat somewhere?
Probably.
That's
I know
what
he's
I heard.
busy. Yeah, probably.
I heard if the groundhog sees its shadow, it's another 8 months of crypto winter.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Accumulate, baby.
The word is I heard Toast saw his shadow, so he went back underneath.
We have to get to the point where no one believes anymore, and then it'll turn around.
That's when it flips. Yep.
Yeah.
I think Toast will be back. He's not gonna bust a Satoshi, but like that would be pretty epic if he just kind of faded away. You know what I mean? Like it kind of, like in a way,
Yeah,
he just
totally.
like he should just fade away and then come back like under a different username. Then like he's somebody else.
That's what John McAfee, Satoshi did, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you think Satoshi's in the community? He's just somebody else?
That'd be cool.
I mean, you could be. Do you think somebody could pretend to be somebody else like that without giving away too many hints?
It's pretty fucking crazy. It makes me think like the moon landing is fake. If like someone can invent Bitcoin and shut up about it.
Yeah, that's a strange one. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's either like one of two things. He's either just erased himself and came back as somebody else, or he died. You know, he was Finny.
Just have like the biggest shit-eating grin all the time. Like,
yeah.
It's like
I think that's the most likely scenario. It was Hal Finney, you know, and just, or I don't know, you know, who knows? What gives it its mysticism?
Yeah, I am Spartacus.
You're Spartacus? Damn, dude. You got abs too?
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
So someone posted an infographic today that I checked out. I can't believe the hash rate's so high.
Crazy, huh?
That's awesome.
No. It's and I think with just the FPGA community, it's pretty kind of flies under the radar, and there's a lot of FPGA miners mining it, you know.
Holy shit! The difficulty's at 1 billion now. Wow.
Yeah.
It's so fucking nuts. Hey,
Good time to buy it.
the FPGA miner.
Hell yeah.
Yo, 0x1, when are we making that FPGA miner? We both bought like a dev kit go around like December, and I downloaded like the software and just like totally overwhelmed by this like I don't know where to begin.
I heard that they're pretty just like the community, they're like really tight knit, you know, with their bit streams. They're just kind of hush hush, you know. They don't like to share secrets with each other.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there must be a lot of like like the number of people that bought like hundreds of $7,000 FPGAs and are fucking down on their investment. Like, I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, some of them are really expensive, man. They have what? Do you see that one test phase posted today? That one's pretty. They're making some more cost-efficient models, you know, of just smaller FPGAs, you know. But they're still like better than a couple GPUs put together, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how much better than GPUs they are. I know that they're definitely better on like power usage. But if you just look at like the price to buy the hardware versus the hash rate, it's like about comparable to a GPU. It's just that then to operate it, it's like a fifth the price or something like that. But if you but like if you estimate the lifespan of a GPU versus an FPGA, it's like I'm making all these numbers up. Like, but like half of it is the cost of it, and then another half of it is like the power usage. So it's not like it's 5 times less expensive to mine with an FPGA. It's like 2 times less expensive, but kind of rough estimate.
Do you have to pay for bit streams? Is that something?
Some of them have like super high dev fees, like the FPGA that miner that they're using for 0xBitcoin, I think has like a double-digit dev fee to it. So you pay as you use it, effectively. And they're all closed source, and yeah, we were wondering if there's a way to like make it more efficient, because obviously I know more about software than other people. No, I don't know. But yeah, if it was open source, you could hack on it. Like our GPU miner is the result of like a bunch of us just making a lot of micro optimizations to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Crypto Michael, what's up, dude?
Nice.
Sorry, guys, I'm currently at work. So it's hard to talk exactly.
Oh, no worries, man. Just saying hi.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, this is awesome. This is cool to...
I'm really waiting for 0x Pizza to hop on. I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my god.
Hey, Rod, were you and Micers, were you guys both here? When did you hear about it? Like, was it the first day, or were you guys here, like, was difficulty one?
I was late to the game, honestly. I think I only showed up around April of last year, but I really started kind of diving into it. What about you, Mike? You were in pretty early, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in, I don't know, not necessarily the first day, but the first like week or so. I saw one of Toast's posts on ETH Dev or one of the Reddits, and I was like chatting with him in like a comment thread. I was like, this is awesome, this is hilarious, like, sure, I'll download the miner. It was pretty fun.
When did you put together your pool, Mike?
That is a great question. I'll just pretend April, June, August.
Because yours was one of the first ones, certainly one of the most prominent ones of 2018.
Yeah. I mean, Toast wrote his first version of the pool, and then I wanted just the community to have like a resilient source, like a backup.
Yep.
And so I spun mine up, and then I have like a decade of experience like running web scale software. So I just kept like hacking it to make it more scalable, and like had good monitoring for it and stuff.
Cool.
When
did see? I think I got in just after or during the whole like GPU race. So
cool.
And that's when pizza kind of came on the scene, right?
Yeah. It was
he
cool.
invented the first GPU miner.
Yeah.
Hey, so I have a question, Micers. Did he share that with you guys? Like, after a while, he felt, or did you guys develop one also? Like,
No,
did he share it?
He kind of taunted it a bit, like in a playful way. He was kind of a mysterious dude too, right?
Yeah,
he was very encouraging, but he wouldn't give away the code either.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, you guys are really smart. You'll figure it out."
meanwhile, he'd release something in a week. Oh, look, I made mine faster.
Yeah, because he
Just
was like
stacking 0x
using
Bitcoin.
the code from the open source one and putting it in his miner.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
He was good though. He made sure he funneled off a certain percentage. I think it was like 10% or 15% of his earnings back into the foundation.
Oh yeah, he gave a lot.
Yeah, he gave me a few tokens for making memes too.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
cool.
Right on. Fun times.
Mike is gonna be like, well, it's been a year. Should probably tell you guys all I was pizza. And, it was fun while it lasted. I love telling you guys. I had the best pool then, and I have the best pool now.
I know. Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, have you thought about lowering the difficulty on your pool, like just a tad?
Yeah, definitely something I can do, for sure.
I think you might be able to get a few more miners if you did, because I think, well, you'd at least be able to capture some of those people who got a few GPUs, because I definitely see the perks of mining on Toasty's pool versus, but I would love to mine on, like, I don't mine on yours because I'm running one card, because
cool.
when we were finding blocks, like, every 5 minutes, sometimes I would never find a share, in that block time. So I went over to, like, Toasty's, and then now I'm mining on token mining pool right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I'm worried about making changes like that because some of the miners, like the mining programs, are like not expecting certain things to change. And so if I make a change to the pool, it's like I'm worried it'll either cause miners to mine and send invalid shares, or like crash some of the miners or something like that.
I think Sol was saying one time that like anything like 64,000 and above is where you kind of want to be for efficiency for the miner. Like anything below that, it can, like you said, you have invalid shares, could be more inefficient, And I thought maybe that's why you guys chose that difficulty.
Yeah, there's like a whole like cascade of trade-offs that come into play.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Gotcha.
Sorry.
nice. All good. But yeah, at the very least, the pool's been like running pretty smoothly recently, where I haven't had to actually like do anything, which is ideal. Like nothing's crashed and things are smooth.
No DDoS attacks.
Yeah, at least none that are having an effect.
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth. Pretty chill.
Yeah, there was a like a 3-month period last year where a lot happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just think it was like, and then on top of that, there was just a whole bunch of scaling issues. Like they just 0x Bitcoin just grew so like it grew so fast, so quick that I think we ran into, which was a good thing, I think, because it kind of it allowed the community to solve some problems, with to understand as we grew larger, kind of what we'd be facing.
So,
good.
what's like the future of what was that thing called? The one where you have to send tokens when you can pay transaction fees in 0x Bitcoin. What's that app called?
Yeah, the lava wallet.
Oh,
Lava, yeah.
the relay.
Happened or not?
Yeah.
I know that Toast, last time he talked about it, he had done, he was making a lot of progress on it, and like, I wouldn't be surprised if, a couple of weeks or a month from now, Toast just comes back and like everything's finished, and then he has, or then he has like an exchange built too around it, because he's
I believe.
because last time I heard him commenting, he was talking about doing an exchange, and he's like, I've already drew out the plans. It would take me about 100 hours, and so he's always been kind of the type where I feel like he'd just come out of nowhere and he'd have it finished. So
I
don't
believe
know.
in terms of the lava wallet, Toast was waiting on an Ethereum update.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
What?
I think that plays a
I
part.
think MetaMask
Yeah,
was
I think-
changing, something like that.
All right.
Well, because I think he did a bunch of work, and he probably had like 20 plus hours that he pretty much did for nothing in a way, just because he had to redo a bunch of stuff. So I think, waiting for the update is kind of a big thing.
Yeah. And then, like, there's been some cool projects coming up, like, around 0xBitcoin, Cedo, and, like, the way that they're, like, doing, like, token distribution through mining, and I don't know exactly how they're funding everything, but I haven't been too close to their progress, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. And then there's, have you seen any updates on Lira Cash in a bit, Jeff? There's a lot of
Yeah, she I guess she's been busy working, like she got a new job, but she's making progress on it slowly. And I haven't fooled around with it yet. I fooled around with she had one on testnet, and I fooled around with the interface. Dude, like she's doing a pretty sick like web store layout, dude. Like it's pretty legit, dude. And
she's a really talented UI person.
oh man,
It would be nice if we could pull her or engage her somehow into OXBitcoin.
I laid the case out. I laid the case out to her for that. Like I pretty much put it on the table at how I said that. I think that Lyric Cash, it could work, but it's essentially dead in the water because it doesn't really serve a purpose. I go, but you could be doing this for something with 0xBitcoin, and I think that, even if you were looking, to make a fees off of it or something, there's some way you can implement that. You don't have to have your own token. And I kind of laid out the case for it, and she really, she took it well. She really was like, "Thank you for your input, and I respect it, and this and that." But I think she wants to stay the route she's going with that one. But I think I just said it. You'll see down the road whether it'll work or not. But
Yeah. Did she had a pool, or she was playing around with the idea of a pool for a while now. The last time
I think
checked, that was like
she ran into some issues, and then I think she said.
Did she get over those?
No, I think she just kind of like moved past it for now.
Okay.
She said she started a new job, and that was kind of taking up a lot of her time.
Right.
So I understand. Hey, Lodge, I wanted to ask you about something. Me and Micros were like kicking around some stuff the other day about. Do you understand how like ETH 2.0? So you'll have to redeploy. Would you have to redeploy 0xBitcoin? Is that how it works? Or does everything just migrate automatically?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you, yeah.
Okay.
Do you know have you heard about like contracts and how to
See if we can
migrate
get
them?
Vitalik on this call. I don't know.
I've been doing
Presumably,
some
yes.
research on it. Someone DM'd me and asked me if I knew, and I was like, it's a great question you're asking. I'll do some research. And I think that there's kind of like Vitalik seems to be posting stuff that indicates in a way that I'm over dramatizing and oversimplifying, but it seems like he's posting where he like doesn't seem to give a fuck about what's on the ETH current chain. And then there's a bunch of other people that are like, that's weird. Here's like 4 different ways that we can do this ETH 2.0 migration that doesn't fuck up things on the old chain. And so I feel like either he's like doing some kind of like proof by what is it called? Proof by indirection or proof by contradiction that like things will kind of take care of itself. There's some shit where it's like yes, I mean it's pretty interesting. So there's the current Ethereum proof of work chain, and it seems like what Vitalik seems to be vying for is to let the difficulty bomb like keep going off, and like slowly that chain just has higher and higher block times. And then the suggestion is that people who want their shit and care about their shit deploy a new contract to the new chain. And then there's a way to, even if it's like a token, like there's a way to just like do that. And then we could do something where it's like, we'll like have Toast deploy the new contract or something, or the community will deploy a new contract. And this is like the worst. This is like the worst case scenario. And then there's like
Sure.
5 other scenarios that are like why you won't need to deploy a new contract. But it's like then you deploy it to either the beacon chain or one of the shard chains, and then you have to like the whole thing's like super complicated. And then so that's
you think we're just too far out from like really knowing?
Yeah, but even in that,
what would
it's
be
like,
the best
okay,
move?
in the new contract, it's like we can do something where it's like if you burn your tokens on the old contract, you get new tokens on the new contract, like something like that. So that it can be done even like trustlessly, like you don't have to even like worry about an airdrop sort of thing.
Sure.
So that's
I feel
that's one thing. And then another person just like commented on this thread and was like, why the fuck don't we just make the old proof of work chain the new chain's beacon chain? Like, why are we like fucking over all the other contracts? Like, this would be easy. And then people are like, yeah, that makes sense. Why don't we do that?
Wait, make the other chain beacon chain, you said?
Yeah, so there's this concept called the beacon chain, which is like a chain that sort of like manages the shard chain. And then so one plan for ETH 2.0 is to have essentially these like 3 chains: the old proof of work chain, the beacon chain that manages the shard chain, and then 1024 shard chains. So that's one option. Then another option that some developers throwing around that to me seems like I don't even understand it. Like it's like I get it abstractly, but it's like I don't know how that works. But he's saying that he wants on one of the shard chains to deploy an Ethereum contract that represents the current proof of work chain. And so like you'll just have on the Ethereum chain a contract that represents the old chain. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. I mean, it like seems good. And then that would mean like nothing would have to happen. If they migrate the proof of work chain to the beacon chain, which I think is the most likely option, then again, like nothing would have to happen. I think that's probably what'll happen, because when you think about projects that, I mean, Ethereum like cares about, like a big one is like the DAI contract and like MakerDAO, and there's like what, like $1 billion or $200 million worth of shit on there. So it's like, you know, they have to like, Ethereum has to like not fuck that contract up. And like, that's a token that's like deployed trustlessly. So we're in the same boat as like every other token on Ethereum. So I'm like not really
confident.
Yeah, I'm super confident that we'll literally have to do nothing. But in this like surprising worst case scenario, there can just be a thing. But yeah, I mean, it'll be cool when they want to increase the capacity of the Ethereum network basically by 1,000 by creating 1,000 shards. And then I think even down the line, it'll be something where they can increase and create more and more shards and just kind of scale linearly. So that'll be really cool. And having a trustless, pure mined currency commodity token across all those shards that works natively and trustlessly will only make more and more sense. Because the monetary policy of Ethereum is as up in the air as the final structures of ETH 2.0. And like with 0xBitcoin, like we know it's just following the halving rules of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree with you with the. I mean, I don't I think we have a fairly, like you said, even worst case scenario, we have a fairly easy road to migrating because I don't think it would be very hard to get the community consensus because you want to be where Ethereum's at, you want to be on the main chain. So, and I think that's an interesting concept you're saying, just letting the difficulty bomb keep going off on the old chain. That would deter people from holding value on the old chain, or whatnot.
Yeah,
Or there being
there's a
fork,
thread on Reddit where it was like an AMA, an ETH 2.0 AMA that I'm getting most of my information on, and that was like around this week. So it's definitely like a moving target, and it seems like there's a lot of stakeholders that still have not been heard from, and also a lot of stakeholders that have sort of conflicting ideas. So, but it seems like, yeah, things are moving. Yeah, and it's definitely exciting, and Ethereum is definitely the most interesting smart contract platform.
I've kind of heard a lot of things being preached in the sense that, trying to be too decentralized will be the death of projects on Ethereum. And I agree to some extent, but then a lot of times I don't agree with that because, I think 0xBitcoin is the epitome of decentralization. You really can't get any more decentralized than it is. But I can see where that argument is being made, but I see that term being thrown around a lot more and more about, why are we trying to be too decentralized? But I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We were talking about this a bit in one of our DMs about like how I think it was like the live peer AMA we were watching was talking about governance, right?
Yep.
And it's like it's like who like the only reason that you need governance is like if your laws are changing or like your rules are changing. Like if you're done with the Constitution or you're done with your smart contract, like you don't need governance. And what's great about like 0xBitcoin is it's been done as soon as it was deployed, and it's only I don't know 200 lines of code. There's a lot of blank lines in the 400 or so lines of code, but it's very small and tight. So if you're doing something that is ever changing, if you're building a social network on top of an Ethereum smart contract, and you're going to want to change the way that sorry about the background sirens. If you're going to want to change the way that upvotes work, or you want to rename hearts to likes or whatever the fuck, then you need like some kind of voting system. But it seems like that's more of like a bug than a feature. To like, you should just kind of try to set your features in stone, and just kind of like all agree to it in advance, or find another project where hearts are likes and likes are hearts, or something like that. But it's definitely what's great about this project is it's been done, it's been finished rather, and it's still growing. The hash rate's growing. The hash rate's super high, and there's this fundamental physical scarcity that is created by the proof of work algorithm.
Yeah, that's neat. That's cool.
Yeah, I was having a like, I don't know if it was like a lighthearted conversation or people were trolling me or a little bit of both, or I was trolling them on Twitter. About like the value of like 0xBitcoin, and I think a lot of like the negative like 0xBitcoin people are funny because like I kind of like a few reasons in my mind, but like primarily it's like any argument where it's like, oh, like a mind, like why would someone like put hash power into like just generating a token, right? It's like, so if are you like, is your Twitter like handle like crypto dog or whatever, and like you're making arguments that in theory also apply to Bitcoin? Like, why does Bitcoin have any value, right? And it's like, it's like we're all in crypto for our own reasons. So if we do want to separately agree that Bitcoin is meaningful and has value, like it can't just be that it has value because it is the first. Like I think to some extent the scarcity creates a lot of value, but like when just people are making, I think, like bad faith arguments that also apply to Bitcoin, I find that like someone who isn't thinking critically or someone who's kind of locked into some way of thinking. But it's just so cool that it's like, here's this thing that anyone can create, and there's like the economic rules of supply and demand, and here we have math that like doesn't necessarily, like with, there's whole sorts of analysis on stable coins around having a price floor and a price ceiling. So with a stable coin, you want to have a price floor of $1 and you want to have a price ceiling of $1. So with 0xBitcoin, like if it costs 20 cents or something like that to mine a token, and someone wants to acquire one and the market's selling them for 10 cents, like people are going to keep buying the token to acquire, and eventually that price will like equilibrate with the mining price if there's enough demand. Otherwise you can get into like some kind of death spiral sort of situation, and that's true with Bitcoin too. But
one thing I want to say to that real quick.
Yeah. I'm just kind of rambling.
Oh yeah, you're fine, dude. You're good. It's good stuff. But to touch on what you were saying, I agree with you. I think mostly, like you said, it's people not really thinking critically, because if you think back to how EIP 918 how it works, and if you really like looked into it and you studied it and you fully understand how it can be changed, what can be done to it, and what it can be used for, you think real critically about it. I mean, 0xBitcoin was essentially just, it opened the door to being able to, you don't have to make another token like 0xBitcoin, but like that's why I like Minables.io that Lodge is working on, and things that have to do with that, because it eliminates that it creates a new distribution method, far better. It's not perfect, but it's the best we have, and it's far better than anything out there really right now that exists. There's so many things wrong with ICOs and different airdrop methods. Like I can go on for days, talking about what's wrong with them, and you could make the argument there's a lot of things wrong with mining tokens on Ethereum, and some of its benefits and things that maybe some people give the energy argument. It's a waste of energy, this or that.
Yep.
And we've all talked about this before. And I think it's just, if you think like critical about it, it's far better, like leaps and bounds better than anything that we have right now on Ethereum. And will that change in the future? Yeah, I could see it morphing to something, or somebody taking it a step further, maybe, and that's just something we're gonna have to kind of see what happens, And like you said, I think people who talk like that, I think it's mainly they haven't done enough research into it to fully understand it. It's mainly people who just don't understand it, and sometimes I think we want to call them, like all those people are stupid.
Another kind of counter argument I hear a lot that I think is funny, especially when we're talking about this ETH 2.0 stuff, is like people are like, mining tokens, like that's dumb because you're just taking away from the security of the Ethereum chain. And it's like, well, we're like the entirety of the development focused on Ethereum is on bringing us to a proof of stake based security. And so like that argument only holds like until the chain is secured by stake, and then like that argument goes away. So even that's like a shorter term like argument on security, and that's kind of like what I think my expectation is that when Ethereum really does go fully proof of stake, there's going to be issues with a pure proof of stake system. Like, it's a closed system. There's no way to add energy or add money to it without, just like buying shit. But with mining, like every successful crypto up until recently, I guess, like Tron, EOS, you can argue are successful, are not like aren't secured by mining. But
Sure.
yeah, as far as that goes, like they had this like token generation event, they had an ICO, and then that was kind of it. Ethereum had an ICO, but a lot of I don't even know, maybe what percentage of Ethereum generated is from mining, but a lot of like how people got into it and came to care about Ethereum and came to hear about it was through mining, was through like the GPU mining Reddit. So I think there's always going to be a demand for miners on crypto.
Absolutely. There's something, I guess to me, the thing that got to me when I first looked at 0xBitcoin was there's something magical about pointing my hardware and getting an Ethereum token. And that's it. I didn't have to go to an exchange, and even my buddies that, were gamers, I could just say, hey, you can do this. You can point your system at this, using this mining software and this pool, and you can get crypto. So you're going straight from your energy and getting these tokens. And so I think that kind of gets back to me. It kind of gets back to a more pure time, I suppose, on the crypto timeline. And I actually think that concept's relatively sort of timeless, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's like what Nick Szabo's BitGold is, and then I think he like stopped building it, or maybe he secretly is Satoshi, and kept building it. But the issue and like the Bitcoin white paper, it talks about how you need a server that a decentralized, trustless server where you can have that server or network agree upon the order of events, and at least on a long enough time scale of consistency, and then you can use that to prevent double spends.
Right.
And so 0xBitcoin is like the name Ethereum Bitcoin. It's like if there was some totally different order of events where Ethereum just like existed and Nick Szabo woke up and said, I have this idea for BitGold. Oh, wait, I have this problem of double spends. Oh, cool, I can use the Ethereum network to manage that. And then that's what like 0xBitcoin is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I want to bring up something really quick. Well, we have a bunch of people in here. At the foundation meeting, we had talked about coming out with a release of WBTC, and I think we all here see a lot of issues, with WBTC and Micro's, the way he put it. It's kind of like a house of cards, and I would be wary on building on top of that house of cards, and or putting a lot of dApps on top of that, and so. We were thinking about coming out with an article that didn't really say, hey, we're 0xBitcoin, we're better than WBTC, but it's like, hey, on Ethereum, there's a place for WBTC and there's value in it, and we see that, but also there's also value for a pure mined currency, almost kind of like, hey, there's this, but we also have this. And so we wanted to come out with a Medium article. So if anybody here wanted to start writing that or has some thoughts or input on it, that would be greatly appreciated.
I've got some input on making 0xBTC a better currency overall. What you need is a place to cash it out in different countries. So you need to be on exchanges where you can cash it out in like China and cash it out in America, and then you've got like liquidity. But right now, it's like there's no like liquidity function within the currency. There's no it can't transport masses of value because something like WBTC has.
Yeah, you're correct. You're right about that. That is an issue that we're faced with right now.
So, getting it onto exchanges really.
Well, I know you had some, I would say strong thoughts, Lodge. Lodge, you had mentioned in the past. I just not that you had some strong thoughts on it, but I know you had some concerns with WBTC. Lodge, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've been kind of keeping up with these guys. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm kind of on the fence with it, and I've kind of here's where I kind of landed with WBs. Is there a place for it? I think so. In Ethereum, I think so. I think certainly being able to tokenize Bitcoin onto Ethereum isn't a terrible idea. You know, and we make the same argument we have been making the same argument for 0xBitcoin, in that we want to have this pure mined token that's available to the greater Ethereum ecosystem, right? The DApp ecosystem, all these different exchanges, games, and all these cool apps coming out, all these cool decentralized apps coming out. So certainly there's a place for tokenized Bitcoin. Where I kind of had trouble with it has always been the centralized components, right? And the way they've deployed it. And I guess I was just trying to be the squeaky wheel, I think, to these guys, and just say, hey guys, not a terrible idea, but let's just take time, or why don't we all just take time, or why don't you engage the community more and take time and do it in a decentralized manner.
So what are the centralized components in it?
So from what I understand, the centralized components are the custodians, the entry points and the custodians. And so this is where I've been I kind of stepped back a bit and thought, good idea. If we can make it totally decentralized, that would be a better idea. So, and that's kind of where I landed with it.
It's like the Hotel California. You can come, but you can never leave.
No, I mean, somebody had to take the first step, and let's be honest, it was bound to happen. So again, I'm not bashing these guys. I think it's not a terrible idea to tokenize Bitcoin. I just think, and they've even said that in the future they would like to make it more decentralized as well. So whether that happens or not, we'll see. But
you're 100% correct. It had to start somewhere,
It did, yeah.
And it's not all bad, but I think some people get really excited, especially in the development community in Ethereum, and they want to rush to build all this stuff, on top of it. And like Micros have put it, it's kind of like a house of cards. You got to be careful,
Yeah,
it would suck to have a lot of value locked up in
it.
it.
A bit further, and it's I'll try to be brief. The issues are essentially it's got this Roach Motel sort of thing. You can check in, but you can't check out. But it's so if you want to get WBTC, I think one way of doing it is you go to the only way of doing it really. There's two ways of doing it. One is you become a merchant partner, which I think essentially means that you're a mega exchange and you have the ability to get in touch with them and mint WBTC or whatever, turn your BTC into WBTC. And that's a super centralized, that's really problematic. Or you go to a centralized exchange.
The way I envisioned it was a smart contract on Bitcoin, so it's not actually locking anything. So the locking on Bitcoin chain is done centrally.
Yeah. So there's basically a multi-sig address that you transfer. If you're an exchange that wants to buy WBTC, you transfer that many. You probably call them on the phone and tell them you're about to do it. You transfer your exchange's Bitcoin to some multi-sig contract that I think is just, for now, really owned by Kyber. They're the group that launched it initially. They're working on decentralizing that control, but whatever. Like, I'm sure that'll happen eventually, and I'm not sure. Maybe they've made more progress than that.
Are you Brandon Grill? Are you the guy who wrote this article I'm looking at now about?
No, but we chatted about it together. Yeah. And I was looking more recently, and so there's this concept of like merchant account. So if you want to cash out, you either have to as like an individual, you just go to an exchange that trades WBTC and trade like, I don't know, WBTC for ETH and then turn ETH into like money, or you have to be a merchant account or something like that. But it's like only a select few number of people that can do it. So the whole thing is like, it's pretending like there's this liquidity, but really to transfer from WBTC to BTC is this like fairly like you have to be like a merchant, which I think means you have to be an exchange. But then like a little further, there's like existential threats to the value of this like currency. And so like the two like obvious ones, and so far that I can think of, are one, that whatever process that's backing the WBTC, like that process is no longer solvent. Solvent is no longer fully funded for some reason. Maybe there's a meteorite that kills all the kills all the instances of the private key, or there's
Wow, how dramatic.
hold on,
How about so from being
dinosaurs come back to life. Find so there's real reasons why the solvency could be in question, and then a second reason is if Barack Obama umbrella, could you I think you're creating some feedback, some echo. All good. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Cool. Maybe like mute unless you're talking. Sorry for. Okay. No, I want to hear you. Whatever. I'll just talk over my own echo. I don't know. It's all good. It's all good. Meter hit it. That's funny. Anyway, my last thing is that like what if the SEC or the IRS comes in and says like, hey, there's money laundering or drug trafficking or some illegal activity that's happening on WBTC, because there's like these actual like organizations that are in control of it, they can go and like send a legal notice to the Kyber exchange and shut them down. So either like physically the backing of the Bitcoin can be lost, or there can be like government intervention. While with something like 0xBitcoin, it's like you'd have to shut down the Ethereum network to mess with 0xBTC. So if you're building something like DAI where you're collateralizing value, or something like compound finance where you're sending out loans using WBTC, and then all of a sudden like that contract is shut down, and there's even like a pause method in the WBTC contract. Like there's a lot of centralized controls where transfers can't happen if they call pause on it. And then, yeah, so like this week there was that exchange in Canada where some dude likely exit scammed or whatever with all that cash, and maybe Kyber will do that one day. Like, why not if the incentives are there? Or like there could be government action on it. So building technology on top of WPTC like inherently has that danger where you could have some kind of like compounded problem where there's debt on top of these tokens that represent Bitcoin. So from like a cyber, yeah. Yeah, I guess it would depend. Yeah. I guess it would have to depend on like this specific hypothetical. So like if the problem is that on the Bitcoin chain they lose the private keys, so they can't transfer out of the multi-sig contract and back onto the Bitcoin chain, then those Bitcoins would be just like lost. Right. So, but then like, what's the value of that? Like, so like, let's say they really lose the private key for these tokens, right? Then it's like now you have this token that is almost like, okay, we know that 5,000 Bitcoins were burned to create it. So now it has whatever that is, like a value of 1.5 million was like destroyed to create these tokens. But like, do you want these tokens? Like, what's the point of these things? Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it's, yeah. Yeah. It's like a good way to have like a financial crisis like on Bitcoin, because it's in a way it's like this like fractional reserve thing. So it's like, okay, there's 21 million Bitcoins total like ever. So there's that value of that market cap. Now let's say 1 million of those tokens, which is a huge number, gets locked into this like on-chain like multi-sig account on Bitcoin, and then is unlocked on the Ethereum network. So now it's like there's an extra, it's kind of like there's $2 million like of value like floating around. So like maybe Kyber like collateralizes debts that they have, like using these assets against that. And then also on Ethereum, you can like, people who have 20 Bitcoin can like take that, go to compound finance or other on-chain collateral systems, and like create a bunch of debt, like create a bunch of DAI out of it, and this and that. So now we go from like 21 million Bitcoin worth of value to maybe like 30 million Bitcoin worth of value, which then like collapses. And yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's like what attracted me to like Bitcoin initially, is that it's like you you can't like fuck with it. Like it's just there, and like that's what it is. And with like IC cleaning your bong or something. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was saying. Oh, like with like ICOs. No, it's like so it's like you can make an analogy like between WBTC and like fucked up ICOs and 0xBitcoin and like Bitcoin or something. But something between those four things. Where it's like or like Bitcoin is to WBTC, I don't know, as like 0xBitcoin is to like shitty ICOs. So it's like you can have Bitcoin and you can like do this thing to tokenize it that can be problematic and opens up like all its users to like systematic potential for fraud. And I'm not saying anything ill about the Kyber people. Like I don't know them, but I definitely fully have the benefit of the doubt that they're operating like in good faith and aren't intending to fuck anything up. But it's like the road to hell is paved in good intentions. And then you have 0xBitcoin, which is just like, hey, we know that we're creating like a floor on the value of, or a ceiling on the value of this token because it's mineable using like a known and provable amount of real world like resources and electricity. And then separately, there's like ICOs where those have just been like wrought with fraud and have kind of like destroyed the growth of the crypto sector or redirected it over the last year, where, you know, if I did any research, I could pull up some statistics like 97% of ICOs like ended up with like the investors like down on their funds over the last year, or 97% of them like didn't deliver on the products that they promised they were going to deliver on, which is probably more of the issue, that it's like marketers that are saying like, we're going to bring like quantum computing like to the blockchain and like invite aliens from outside our galaxy, just like buy our token, and then nothing like materializes. And here it's like we have a good like tokenized store of value and also a good token distribution system, which you can also complement with some kind of like fundraising, like I think Cito's doing. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ethereum's hash rate is down like a shitload. Yeah.
Did you guys see the Reddit thread last week? I think it was late last week about some miner or a bunch of miners were complaining to, they're basically just bashing Ethereum for going POS. I kind of threw a plug for EIP 918 and 0xBitcoin. Did you guys anyways?
Nice. How many downvotes did you get?
I got the upvote.
Oh, nice. That's really good for Reddit. I way nice. Just
I just drop it where it's like, hey guys, there's this.
that's cool.
I made a post there too, and I got
I start weighing my success on Reddit based on like how many downvotes I get. Yeah, those are rookie numbers. I'm used to like 20 now. Like minus 20.
I posted the happy birthday 0xBitcoin infographic earlier today on our cryptocurrency, and just 3 minutes ago I got a comment. Someone commented, "Shoot."
There you go.
Hey, I'll take that as an improvement. We're moving up in the world, guys. 2018 is all about that.
That's funny.
For anybody listening, if you're just curious about the website, so we made a website, and because Tess hasn't been here, so I don't know. I mean, I told him I did everything I can. He has access to the 0xBitcoin GitHub, so we did everything he can. He made a few. Last time he was on, he made a few recommendations of things that maybe he would take off and change, and I was more than open and willing to do that, but then I haven't heard from him since. So we just decided to go ahead and put it on the 0xBitcoin.foundation URL, and we're just gonna keep working on it. So we just leave it there. I haven't opened things but in GitHub, so that's it. But I don't know where he's at. I don't know what he's doing. I don't think he's abandoned us. Right? So that's the latest update on that. Everybody's curious.
Nice. What the fuck? I'm reading our cryptocurrency, and there's something called Bitcoin with two eyes, and it the I guess and it is like a market cap. It had a market cap briefly of 60 million yesterday, and now it has a market cap of 20 million today. I think what they, I think it's just that there are people that are like spending, like it's listed on like 3 exchanges, and they're like high volume exchanges, so it's like, I don't know, they must be like partnering with these exchanges. Okay, so here we go. I clicked this first exchange that it's listed on, and it says at the top of the exchange, X-Rates Lab, get the pump and dump monthly prediction of BTC rate. Join. So it's like, yeah, and it's like, this gets 12 upvotes on like our cryptocurrency. But yeah, I think like what you said earlier about just us having the long-term view of the project, and it's not even like we're saying anything like we're not like encouraging people to like even like buy it, but like people that just like to get the technology, and like we want adoption, and sure, like with the economics of the token, like definitely like utility is good. and stuff will have likely have an upward pressure on the price, but it's like ultimately it's like this is good for Ethereum to tokenize value in this token, especially when we're talking about like wanting to acquire if we have like 2% of the like on-chain value of Ethereum, like there's probably like, I don't know if that's like billions of dollars or like what that, number is, where it's like just like a pretty cool opportunity, and just like consistently having a good message and like not defrauding or yeah.
But to add to that, Michael, what you're saying, everybody I've come across who, in my opinion, like have a brain on Ethereum or developed on Ethereum, or anybody who has a concept that might even smell a little more beautiful, or just anybody pretty much wants to know the scam here.
Yep.
Everybody, like introduced to zero Bitcoin, or talking about or educated them on. They all think it's a rational idea, and I think that this is very little in the scheme of things. I think just Bitcoin receives very little training, about people saying, oh, it's just a shit coin. And most people saying that, know nothing about it. They just don't want to learn about the project or whatever.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, I think I've started marketing before, and it's like the first step to being able to like have a product like appreciated and wanted to be bought by a market is brand awareness. And I think like given that this product's like totally grassroots, like has no budget behind it, is done by a small number of people in their spare time on one side of things, and then is like mined by other people, and then pushed out and communicated. We've been doing great for like brand awareness. It's like brand awareness, brand favorability, and then this is more on the like marketing theory side. There's like purchase intent. Maybe for 0xBitcoin, that's like utility, and that corresponds with like dApps picking us up and stuff like that. But yeah, I think we've done great for like brand awareness. Like I've had people come up to me at like one of the few crypto conferences that I've been at and been like, holy shit, you're the 0xBitcoin guy, like, and like was just like super positive and super like excited to meet me. And so I mean that's like super cool. And I think like, and honestly, like we've been doing great, and like I think we should all be pretty proud about what we've done so far, and pretty optimistic about where we'll keep growing to.
Yeah, for sure. They told one of the Bitcoin and just gone forever, like the bullshit. Because it wouldn't matter, the future of the value is in the community, and the intellect that are surrounding this, and how open the community is to accepting more and more. And just like what you said, talking about, like we created a foundation, and we created the foundation to become just a lot of just like-minded people who instead of being alone and together, and we're open to adding many more people to it. So we're just talking about that. So if anybody has any interest in being a part of the foundation and helping, we're nothing official, so just to keep it live and start hanging out in the community, and there's nothing special about us, but you're just as special as we are, we're all the same. We'd love for you to tolerate us and add more people to something like this. I think it's just really cool.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we don't. Yeah. But yeah, you're all special and we suck. So join our organization. Yeah. Hash this. Yeah.
Lodge is actually one of the most
Nice, nice. Co-ed. Nice. Oh, Infernal Toast is typing. He's typing. What's he saying? Oh, he started. Oh, he's thinking. He's thinking. He's thinking.
It's just a cat on his keyboard.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you.
Hey guys, could you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
What's up, man?
All right, my mic was not cooperating. Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I've just been listening this whole time.
Right on.
Sweet, dude.
Yeah, I was looking at that Bitcoin thing. Maybe somebody is just like not familiar with technology. Bitcoin with this whole there's a fire portfolio.
Creating a new cryptocurrency and becoming a millionaire.
Yeah, I think the GPU miners are like scared of crypto. It's like they love it, but they hate it because it's so volatile. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Timing is everything, I guess. Hmm. Yeah, I know a lot of people at like mining at the professional level have not been doing so well since the summer. Kind of sucks. It's like yeah. Yeah, and it's one thing to do it like even to mine at a loss. Like if you have two graphics cards and your electric bill goes up a little bit more, it's another thing to be doing that at an industrial scale. Like you just can't keep fucking doing it if you're losing money every month. It like doesn't make sense. It sucks. Hmm. Right. Yeah, like your fridge or something. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, seems crazy, but yeah, the bills are real too. I want. Yeah. It'd be kind of cool to like mine a bunch of tokens, like hide the like not like admit to having them, like declare bankruptcy, waiting for them to appreciate, and then like selling them. That'd be a cool. That'd be a cool scam. Nice. Yeah, I wonder how many folks are like. They're the people that like you read about that mortgage their house to like buy crypto or whatever, take out a loan they can't afford, and then they did that in January. Yeah, it's definitely when the most people did it, but it's like. Yeah, but like if you declare bankruptcy, can you just like pretend that you lost the coins or hide them or it seems right, right. Yeah, right. I mean, there's different. I don't know why I don't know why I'm talking about this, but it's like there's different degrees to it. Like if he bought Beanie Babies, it's like, well, where are the Beanie Babies? But at the same time, it's like, hey, yeah, someone broke into my car and stole all these Beanie Babies. So maybe it's like my computer was hacked, or like whatever. Hey, I'm just scheming. I'm just making some. Just when this comes up as evidence in my fraud trial in a few years, I'll feel pretty smart. When the Fire Festival documentary is made about me, then. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's two. Yeah, so having your own node, like Infura is just like a bit slower than having your own node. So if you're like, if there are people who are mining and they have their own node and you're going against them and you're using Infura, like you'd have to bump up your gas price like super high, so that even if your transaction is coming in 10, 20 seconds later because Infura has that large of a delay sometimes, you want to jump the queue on like a whole bunch of other of other transactions and like get higher. But if you're also have your own full node and you're sending in your transactions like about the same speed as that other miner, then you just want enough to be like ahead of them. But also like you may think that like right now, like if it's like a new token that someone just releases, like you might think like, hey, right now I have this like short-term comparative advantage where there's only 5 other miners that are going at it right now, and I think in a week there's going to be 50 other miners. So you may want to like use a really high gas price to make sure that the net block speed of like all the transactions like are quicker, I think. But yeah, the game theory of it is super interesting. It's like as you're like FOMO mining into like a token, yeah, it's super fun. Oh, cool. Yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference. And it's like Infura isn't like you're not paying Infura to like make your transactions go super fast. Like they're just like providing a service for free to the community, and they have their own like caching layers and like queues and all this other stuff. So yeah, for sure, having your own node can get you further along, which is exactly, so you can like be beating people with less gas if you're running your own full node. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Nice. That's funny. Yeah. Same. Nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's cool because it's like I feel like we're all. That's hilarious. Oh shit. There was a thing where you had to like do the disk swap. Do you guys ever know what I'm talking, like? Yeah. 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 But you have to like keep the button down so it doesn't think the lid was open or some bullshit like that. Then you could play your pirated games. What? Oh man. Oh, like some nail polish shit. Oh man. Oh, cool. Hmm. You have some cold water near it. Hmm. Nice. Yeah, I wonder on that YouTube video hack, like, I remember there was some stuff with the first CPU miner where it was in Node.js and it was like a set timeout, like callback was being called. And I wonder if there's anything where if you starve the node code, it like, I don't know. I was like optimizing it a little bit early on before working on the GPU miner. Yeah, like it just wasn't doing as much work, and by having the other stuff going on, it like did something different around that, but whatever. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Huh. Hmm. Sick. Sick. That's pretty solid. The, yeah, try Vimeo. I heard you get like 3x with Vimeo. Yeah. Nice, yeah. Pornhub. It sounded really convincing. Your good delivery. That's funny. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's call it soon. This yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool, cool. Yeah. Oh shit. You're cool. Let me know. DM me. I'll swing by with some soup for you. I think. Yeah, you got it. All right, cool. Later. Take care. All right, and that has been the 0xBitcoin community chat.